Hello, and welcome back to Dylan and Ross Save Sports here on not Monday, Friday, June 6th, June 4th. I'm all over the place. Well, I was thinking 6th, Ross, because uh, 6 is the month of June, like on a calendar. You see
Right.
6 is the month of June.
Yeah.
Where else you see 6 is Game 6, in which the
Oh,
Lakers
games.
lost and got and got eliminated and got sent home. And I am rejoicing, Ross, because how funny. It's just hilarious to me.
It's a good day for anybody that is a fan of all these other things. But I
I
have
got
to be honest. Like, because I was gonna say it's
uh
a good day to be a fan of the New Orleans market in particular, and I think that's true. But I think that there are a lot of specifically Laker hating markets that are probably like the Clippers, like probably a good day to be a Clippers fan, all the other stuff. I'm actually okay with the Lakers. I have no problem with the Lakers. It's just that there's one particular person that can get these hands. That's all. That's all it is. That's all it is for me.
and Ross. It's apparently he can't get these hands because he's soft, and he is out. He was out. He couldn't play. He was hurt. Shocker.
He did try.
Shocker. Let me tell you, I'm shocked that he got hurt in a playoff series.
It's wild, man. It's wild because
I will,
obviously, go ahead.
I will say Chuck's take was bad.
Yeah.
Did you hear Chuck's take about how? When you're that young, you should be Superman. You shouldn't get hurt. I'm like, well,
No,
everybody's
that's not how it
different.
works.
That's not how bodies work, man. I'm 23 and my body aches like I'm 40 sometimes, depending on the day, depending on the sleep I get.
I'm like 70 and I feel exactly like I'm 70. So
Well, yeah,
I'm pretty on par.
yeah, that's good for you. That's good for
But I
you.
think after a certain point, everything just feels wrong. So I think I've just been in that place for a long time. But either way, the Lakers are out. Lakers eliminated by the Phoenix Suns, 113-110. Chris Paul closed the game out. I thought he really showed up at the time to close out the game, even though he actually had struggled early on, didn't have but 6 points until late in the fourth quarter. But Devin Booker, 47 points on the night, also had 11 rebounds on his way to a playoff double-double. He was on fire yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And got ejected.
And got ejected.
For talking.
Oh, this is interesting.
What you got?
After the season, Chris Paul intends to decline his $45 million player option with the Suns.
He trying to get that max extension?
I guess, maybe. At 37?
He get that super max at 37 years old.
No, he just turned 36.
Come back to New Orleans, Chris.
That'd be so much fun. Give Zion a point guard, please.
Yeah,
please. I want to go ahead because my favorite thing from Twitter coincides with this.
Yeah.
You know what I love, Ross?
Have the same thing from Twitter. I think we have the same favorite thing from Twitter. What you like? What you love?
My camera is green.
Ooh.
What is going on with my camera? I am happy 420, I guess, let me see. Can I turn my camera off? What is going on with my camera? It is bothering me. Oh.
What does that say? Link to my what now?
You're a child, Ross. Oh, there we go. Also, my name is Ian on this. I gotta change.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're also Ian Glendon, so really it has no reflection upon you, Dylan Sanders. Everyone, this is my dog, Nutmeg, by the way, who decided that she wanted camera time today. So,
hey, it works for me.
Our co-host for the day.
Let's see what Nutmeg has to say about this. These couple of things, Ross. First off, I'll preface this saying one thing I love in sports is trash talk.
Mm-hmm.
I love people playing the villain. I love players talking trash, going after each other, stuff like that. So let's take a look at the first example here. That's tough. Dennis Schroeder trademark registration. Bleacher Report posted something on Instagram. Something else. These are two separate things. Booker had some words for Dennis Schroeder, and then Devin Booker replied, "That's tough."
Yikes.
With Dennis Schroeder's trademark.
Wow.
Next up is Drummond in Game 3
Hmm.
doing the stuff, and then Chris Paul doing it as well in Game 6. Next up, it's all LeBron James. It's all fun and games until the rabbit got the gun, and then Jay Crowder put on Instagram last night, "Ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. 12 more to go. Big 9-9."
Wow.
And then lastly, Jay Crowder salsa dancing. LeBron James salsa dancing.
Got it. That's when Jay Crowder got ejected. So
Yes.
he did that salsa dance, whistle blew, and then he just sprinted off the court. Like
Yeah.
just went away because he knew, like, all right, I know I'm gonna get ejected for this. That happened and coincided with Devin Booker throwing down a slam dunk when the game was basically in the bag, and then basically, chirping back at the Lakers players as he went back down the court. So they both ended up getting ejected at the end. There was a lot of trash talk in there, but you know what? Talk your stuff, because, like for Chris Paul, this was a long time coming to get that, to advance and carry a playoff. For Monty Williams, this was a long time coming. That was Monty Williams' first playoff win in his career. That's like first playoff series win in his career. That's huge. And to do it against the reigning champions that, knocked you out of your first playoff appearance 10 years ago and everything
And doing it with the same star.
right, and doing it with Chris Paul and everything, which is my favorite thing from Twitter, by the way, the post game sort of locker room moment between Chris Paul and Monty Williams, recognizing that, hey, 10 years ago, they were in the same place going up against the same team and got eliminated 4-2. And then now here they are with Monty's first playoff series win. This is huge. This is huge for Phoenix, huge for the Suns.
Yeah. I'm happy for Phoenix, man. Um, can I say something? All the people at everybody who's saying that the Lakers, no LeBron, no Steph Curry, it looks like Kawhi gonna get bounced in the first round again. All I gotta say is the new era is quickly approaching, if not already here.
Yeah.
It's up to the Nets. The Nets are holding on to the previous era of basketball. The young guns are coming,
Yeah.
and they can ball. Let me just say that.
Yeah. I mean, you look at the players, the teams, everybody that's advancing. It's, Luka potentially helping to push the Dallas Mavericks past the Clippers. You've got Devin Booker as a big part of the Phoenix Suns, Bogdanovich over in Denver, like Jokic over in Denver. Like, there's so many, incredible players. Donovan Mitchell in Utah. Like, there's all of these incredible young players that are now leading their teams past vested veterans that were, dominating the league over the course of the last 5, 10, 15 years in LeBron James's case, 17, 18 years. So it's really, it's cool to see. Like it's a great time to be a young NBA star. And all of this is happening. Oh, and Trae Young, of course, is Atlanta.
Oh, and Trae Young. Can I mention one thing with Trae Young real quick? Well, another thing I loved with Trae Young, still could score on him given 5 chances. Just gonna say that, but I loved his bow after eliminating the Knicks.
100%.
And then did you hear his explanation for it?
It was as if he wrote it for me. What are you talking about? It was as if he wrote it just for dual theater and sports fan like myself.
What was the goal? What did he say?
He said something along the lines of, I know the city that I'm in, there are a lot of shows here, and I know what they do when the show is over.
Yeah, and it's just so
ruthless, man. I love it.
Now, Trae, all you got to do is shave your head real quick, and then we'll be Gucci.
Yo, look, Trae Young versus the city of New York City is something I'm very much looking forward to for the next 10 years.
Someone brought it up, but I really hope it happens. If this keeps happening, we got to get so do you know the whole Chipper Jones thing? Do you know Chipper Jones' son's name? Chipper Jones named his son Shea.
Okay.
Because he plays for the Atlanta Braves. One of their big rivals is the New York Mets. The New York Mets used to play at Shea Stadium. So Chipper Jones named his son Shea. Can we get Trae Young naming a child Madison?
It has to happen. It
I'm
has to
so
happen.
down. I am all for
Wow.
Trey Young being the villain. Also, shout out to Chipper Jones because that is the
Right.
dope.
That's ruthless, yo. That's years. That's like years in the
That's like I
making.
only had a son to come after y'all, man.
That's I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
baseball used to be fun, and now people want to ruin it.
Now people are mad at
People
Fernando
are still
Tatis for
trying.
hitting home runs.
People are still trying to have fun, but old heads are like, that never happened. As
Right.
if people didn't used to just shoot up on the sidelines, go hit a home run, and then call it a day. Respect the game. All right, all right. When y'all were in
Damn.
y'all's prime,
Damn.
it was a drug based game. Chill out with respect the game. All right.
Damn.
Oh, we just got people trying to hit home runs. All right.
Jeez, Dylan.
I'm
Man.
just saying,
I
man. It
love
doesn't
it. I
make
love
any
it.
sense to me. It
I
doesn't
love
make
it.
any sense to me, Ross.
No. Nor should it. Man, that's wild that Chipper Jones did that. That's crazy. I love that so much.
Are you a Chipper Jones fan now?
I kind of already was like I did like him when he
Uh
played.
huh.
He was one of those players that stood out from their team and that even I as a casual knew, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so and he was a contact hitter, which I loved contact hitters and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Chipper Jones, Ichiro, like those King Griffey Jr. a little bit, but he had a little bit of yard in him too, but I liked Chipper Jones, but now I really like Chipper Jones. I can't wait. Like I want somebody to strike up beef with me, just so that when I have my kid, I can name them. Like I want that now. I want that
Mm-hmm.
joy. Somebody come at me. Somebody come at me.
Uh,
Get my child named after you. My
let's
future
see.
child.
You got an announcement to make, Ross?
Not unless somebody has an announcement to make to me.
Oh man, but Ross, how have you been? How have you been?
Thank you, man. I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. It's been a very exciting day. We got to help out. Not help out. She didn't need any help, but she was super dope. Our good friend Maddie Hudak, who's been on the show several times, hosted her first 3-hour radio show, the Hudak Takeover, over on the Sports Hangover. She did a great job. It was awesome. ESPN Radio NOLA. She held it down during a big time slot, and it was great to be able to join her. And grateful we got to be a part of it. So it was really cool. So it's been a busy day of just like celebrating people and their dubs, man. I love it.
It's one of those days. Every now and then you get one of those days where it's just all right, dub after dub after dub,
Right.
and this has been one of those.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. How about you? How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm a little tired.
Yeah.
I've just been cleaning all day.
Word.
Uh,
One of the stories that Maddie and Kat Terrell both talked about on their show was they talked about, you remember Skippets? Did you have Skippets in your lifetime?
Let me Google them real quick.
Yeah, they're
I
like,
think that skipped me. You know what I'm saying?
but the moral of
Oh
the story,
yes,
yeah,
Skippets.
yeah.
I was not coordinated enough to do
Yo,
those as a kid.
terrible, Adam. But it got me thinking about, because Maddie told the story about how she was doing it, and then it flung off of her foot, and then hit somebody across the yard, like right in the face. And so it got me to thinking, like, was there ever a toy that you had that like always hurt you or hurt people around you, but you always played with it anyway?
I would always try to skateboard,
Yeah.
and then it never worked out.
Yeah, that's fair.
It never worked out. I'm trying to think. Remember whenever people used to play with like lawn darts?
Yes, that's terrifying. That is terrifying. Like, I can't even say I remember people playing with lawn darts. It's just that I've seen like movies and people are playing lawn darts in the movies or the TV shows, whatever, and that just looks horrifying.
I used to have some lawn darts.
That doesn't
Man.
seem safe.
No shot it was safe. Are you kidding me? Part of me is like sad that the newer generation is missing out on some of these like outdoor activities and stuff like that. But it's also just so much safer to be inside and not climbing through the woods trying to find something to do on like broken, rotten logs and trees and just falling,
Man,
tripping at every second, getting so many
we
scrapes.
we had this housing development that was being built like a neighborhood over from where I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
And while it was being built, well, first of all, while it was being built, we always ran through the like halfway constructed houses and everything like that was always a thing. But while it was being built, they had these humongous piles of dirt that were just
Mm-hmm.
out. And so we would climb up to the top of the pile of dirt and then we would scrape down and flatten down just like a flat kind of like to, I don't want to, like a flat track down
Mm-hmm.
basically. And we would come down and then take our bikes up the hill
Oh
and then
God.
go like straight down at this
Mm-hmm.
steep angle for fun because there was nothing else to do.
You know what made my heart happy, Ross, the other day?
What?
I was at the LSU softball game.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it made my heart happy just being there.
Of course.
And a great experience. And even though
Aerolia.
LSU lost, even though LSU lost, it was a fun experience. But what made my heart happy is that there was a big steep hill, and kids were rolling down it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it
I
just
love
made
that.
me happy to see that that's still like one of the most simplest joys.
Oh, yeah.
Is just have a huge hill.
And roll down it.
And roll down it. That's it.
Yeah.
Just
Hell
see a
yeah.
big hill and be like, yeah, I'm rolling down this. I was about to.
I know exactly it's about to go down. I know
Yeah.
exactly what's about to happen right here.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
diggity,
I was like,
no doubt.
oh, big hill. Say less. I mean,
And
I
it's
say
like a
that
collective-
I said as a kid, me and my friends were doing that like 2 years ago.
I was gonna say I definitely remember rolling down a snowy hill in particular less than 2 years ago.
Yeah, no, it's still one of the simplest joys, but I'm glad that people still do it.
Oh yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
'Cause I feel like that's one of those things that's gonna last because it's so exhilarating.
It's never
also
not
so
fun.
dangerous. It was so dangerous. Because at the end of the hill, it goes
It's
hill
a street.
and then fence.
Yeah.
No, this one had hill and then fence.
So you're like getting stopped by a fence.
But I gotta be real, kids are so weird. Getting hurt doing that, one of the most fun things ever. It's a great feeling. I don't know. It's just the internal.
You
it's
just
the
feel
adrenaline.
alive, yo. You just feel
Yeah.
alive.
Yeah,
Man, I'm about to go find a hill. I'm ready. That's the
I'm
first
doing
thing we
it.
need to do. First thing we're doing in Mobile is finding a
just
hill.
finding a hill and then rolling down it. Let's have
I
a
don't know.
race.
Maybe not Mobile. I don't know. Who knows what you're gonna roll over?
Ow! Let's go to Destin, Florida, then roll down a random hill.
I'm going to Sarasota, Florida for the first time next weekend. I've never been. I just hope I come back. That's all. So, friend of mine's wedding out there, so I'm
luck.
excited to see him
Praying for
tie
you.
the knot. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. I appreciate that.
Don't go visit in the city.
Yeah, yeah, no. So they're like, oh yeah, no, it's on the outskirts. I'm already out. I'm on a plane back home. Like, I'm cool.
Peace and love, brother. I'm
cool.
sorry.
Yeah.
I'm out. I'm done.
Best of luck to you and yours. Congratulations on your nuptials. I'm out. I'll see you. I'll see you. I'm going to Baton Rouge. I'm out.
Peace. Man, what else do they have going on in the basketball world tonight?
Well, we only talked about Suns and Lakers. We did also get Denver moving on yesterday and Dame Lillard officially being eliminated. And Dame took to Instagram to talk a little bit about it after the 126-115 loss to the Denver Nuggets. In this game, Damian Lillard had 28 points, 13 assists, and 4 rebounds. So he played a very, very good game, including being only going 3 of 11 from 3, unfortunately. But regardless, he took to Instagram after the game and posted a cryptic message on his way out, basically saying, "How long does one stay loyal?" It was somebody's, I think it was lyrics from somebody's song or something like that. But essentially questioning his loyalty a little bit. So I'm curious. I mean, we were kind of joking around about it the other day, and of course we had Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum here in the chat. But could Dame be done in Portland?
All I know, Ross, is that was probably the last time we see Dame and CJ play together.
That's fair. That's fair.
Because if I'm Portland, I'm shipping out CJ before I'm shipping out Dame.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I think Portland's going to look real different next year, no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's true. I think that's true. And that's a good point. Like, do what you have to do to keep Dame. And if that means shipping out CJ McCollum, adding assets, adding other players, whatever, using CJ McCollum as the cornerstone of a trade piece to get, a young core in or something like that to work around Dame, then I think you absolutely do that. I think you're right.
There are two things I'm confident in. Damian Lillard, not going to be a Laker.
Oh, yeah.
Damian Lillard, not going to be a Pelican.
Yeah, no, I'm very confident about both of those things. Both of those teams and both those fan bases should want Damian Lillard, but
also, a third one, Damian Lillard, not going to be a Knick.
I don't know, man. That Photoshop was spicy.
Oh man, they have one.
Real good.
Do the Knicks fan base have a Photoshop for everybody in the league? Just one in the deck for everybody. You think?
Oh,
is there a Kevin
Yeah.
Herter Knicks jersey swap?
There's got to be like just a jersey swap repository of every NFL player, every NBA player, and probably NFL player too.
Remember whenever they used
measure.
Kevin Herter to promote MLK Day?
That's all I think about anytime I see him. That's all I think about is him in the MLK jersey.
Oh my god, this is my favorite picture ever. I think. Let's see. Let's see. I have never seen this picture before.
Oh man.
Oh my goodness.
Very excited to see this. Yikes. Wow.
Man.
I was going to say, whoever utilized that camera needs to check the white balance, but I understand that was a little challenging in that situation. That was a little bit challenging.
Oh
That's
my
crazy.
god.
That's
I've
crazy.
never seen that picture before. That's hilarious.
That's so good. For people that are listening, it was a Kevin Herter and Dwayne Wade jersey swap, and the photo's not great. Photo's not great.
Well, that was during the last on D Wade's like retirement tour. He swapped a jersey with one player per game.
I remember that. Yeah.
But it's funny that it was Kevin Herter.
Could have been Trae Young. Like, there's other people that made sense there.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah,
so
but no, it's I'm excited. I'm excited. The new era is among us.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun. And tonight we get more action, of course, over in the NBA with a couple of series already kind of sewed up over in the, or really we just get one game today in the NBA. We get the Los Angeles Clippers and the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks have a chance to close this one out. They lead the series 3-2 at the moment. So if they win, they'll advance and host the Utah Jazz to open up the series, the second round series. Mm-hmm. So do you think that the Mavericks are going to close it out, or do you think it's going to go to Game 7 with the Clippers getting one more win here tonight?
I think we'll see Game 7. I hope we get at least one Game 7.
Mm-hmm. It'd be nice to see one.
Yeah, not the end of the world if we don't, but
Yeah.
it'd be fun.
As long as the finals go to Game 7. That's what I always want. I just want the finals to go to Game 7. Because at that point, you're kind of like, give me as much basketball as you have left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and also to the people complaining that LeBron or Steph are not in the playoffs anymore. I'm sorry that all these young guns scoring 40 points a night is not entertaining enough, I guess. It doesn't make any sense.
Because that's who they both were.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how their playoff run started. And this, of course, is the first time ever that LeBron James has been eliminated in a first round, in the first round of an NBA playoff series. Which technically, I guess, I mean, he didn't play a full series. They played one game, right, for the play-in. So, but he was 14-1 otherwise across those series, everything. So it's monumental that he was eliminated, or that the team that he played on was eliminated in the first round. But it doesn't mean that the playoffs are no longer worth watching.
Yeah. They're going to be gone one day. What are you going to do? Not watch anybody?
Right. I mean, you might as well start getting a look at your future NBA stars now.
I'm sorry you're not having fun watching Luka get a 47-point triple-double in the playoffs, man.
Man,
like, what?
He's been incredible, yo. He's been incredible. Hey, I was right. I was right. Remember 2 nights ago when we did the show, you had asked me who's going to have the big game tonight, and I said Luka,
And then
and he went
Luka had
off.
42, 14, and 8.
He went off. It was
Woof.
crazy. I think he had like 28, 30 in the first half or something like that. He had an incredible first half.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's as simple as that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm loving it. All right, why don't we go ahead and jump to our break and then come back, and I have some questions for you regarding the NFL and some new protocols that they're implementing for media that we should talk about. So I have that coming up for you here as we continue on with today's episode of Dylan Ross Saves Sports, Full Press Coverage, Full Press Radio Network. Boop. Ad time, baby, baby.
Oh, whoa, whoa. Ba. What's up? How you doing?
I was letting you do your thing, man. I was letting you do your thing.
I am tired.
Me too, yo. Me too. I'm excited for the weekend. I'm glad that it is Friday and that we are.
Oh, okay.
Oh, baby.
All right.
Almost about
Okay.
you. What's up? What's going on? You good? You cool? Oh. Hey. Look at that.
What?
Nailed it.
Oh. All right, I'm going on. Good vibes.
There you go. Good vibes.
Let's look at a mock. Let's look at a mock draft. Who do they got? Kay Cunningham, Evan Mobley, Jalen Suggs,
Who do they have going to the Pelicans?
Davion Mitchell. Ooh.
From Baylor. Yeah.
He's just Drew Holiday again.
Perfect. Because, the Pelicans last year really were just a Drew Holiday away. If only.
He's a better 3-point shooting Drew Holiday.
Ooh.
Where they got Cam Thomas going? In the second round, the Knicks. That's enough of you, a tankathon. I won't have this disrespect. I won't have this disrespect.
Need to go retweet my my episode for today.
Do it now. Hurry up, Ross.
Oh no, I didn't pin it. Oh jeez. Now I have to dig through my Twitter account to find it. There we
go. Let's see. Let's see what ESPN has for this mock draft. I am a ESPN Plus member.
The one. Sorry.
Weird.
How much longer we got? About 30 seconds.
Oh man. So you got the Rockets going Cade Cunningham.
Mm-hmm.
Evan Mobley, Jalen Green. They have Jalen Suggs dropping a 4 here. Who do they got going to the Pels? Franz Wagner. Franz Wagner. Shooting wing. That's exactly what the Pelicans need. You know what I'm saying? It works. It works, Ross.
Okay. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Here we go. All right, everybody, we are back to the Ross Saves Sports, Full Press Coverage, Full Press Radio Network here for the bottom half hour, wrapping up the week here on the show. Thanks so much for being here with us. Remember, you can find Dylan on Twitter at NotIan on Twitter, and you can also find him at Dilly Sanders on Twitter as well. And you can find me on Twitter at Ross Jackson Nola, NOLA, DAR Save Sports, Full Press Radio. We out here. Thanks so much for taking the time to be with us here as we wrap up the week and head into the weekend. Dylan, some big news going on in the NFL. A couple of different things going on in the NFL. First of all, the elimination of race norming, but I don't really want to talk about that right now. But the other thing that came out today was that the NFL plans to, despite allowing 70,000 fans into some stadiums, they plan to limit media access, and by limit I mean deny media access for media members in locker rooms after games, citing COVID protocols and COVID concerns. This feels a little strange to me that you would allow one thing and not allow the other thing. This feels a little bit like the NFL and NFLPA putting a stranglehold a little bit upon access for media. How do you feel about this?
It's a little odd.
It's a little odd, right?
It's a little odd.
And I hear people, and I heard Kat Terrell talking about this over on ESPN Radio NOLA earlier today with Maddie about how, fans sometimes say that, or may feel that there's no need for access to locker rooms for media, but media very much gets a lot of these stories, particularly in terms of getting to know players on the personal side, which I know is something you care greatly about. Getting to know them, that generally happens in the locker room, not via Zoom call.
Yeah. It seems a little odd to me.
Mm-hmm. And then as, entering media members as we are, it's I don't know. I don't want to say that it feels disappointing, but it definitely makes you wonder, all right, well, how do you develop relationships? How do you get access? Things like that. If you're going to be denied this point, and especially this idea that it's a COVID protocol thing, whereas in other elements of the game, particularly with fans and ticket sales, it's not the same logic doesn't seem to be being applied.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's where my biggest thing. If it was consistent, it's consistent. You know what I mean? And that's whatever. But there's an inconsistency here.
Yeah. It does have a scent of just trying to get over the media people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think limiting access is a good idea. I think having access remain as it was so that people can continue to get to know and love their team and the players that populate their team is very important. And it's a very important part of folks in media, particularly written media, journalists being able to do their work and do their job. So I don't know. I think it's a hindrance, but I guess the biggest thing will be waiting to see if it remains in place, first of all, and waiting to see if it remains in place again going into 2022. If at that point, and especially if we are officially post-COVID, post-pandemic at that time, then that would be the time to say, all right, something's fishy.
All right, what's going on here?
Fishy here. Yeah.
What's going on here? I don't know I wonder if it'll stand until the season starts.
That's what I'm curious about too, because I feel like enough people are starting to make it known, particularly folks with large platforms and everything as well, making it known that this is disappointing, doesn't make sense, that it is a hindrance, that it's a barricade. People are being very open and transparent about it, which I think is good, and also I think that it is necessary in a situation like this.
Mm-hmm. And I do want to say, there is a difference. The media should be able to do their job, but there also is. I do want to touch on the Naomi Osaka thing, because that's also important. She doesn't feel like she's mentally capable of doing it right now, and so she shouldn't have to.
And that's got to be okay. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. The way that tennis is treating their only young star is crazy, right?
I would even venture to say their only, and maybe this is just my ignorance around Twitter, but my ignorance around tennis, but only star, perhaps.
I mean, Serena.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's she. I don't know. Naomi beat Serena. Naomi beat Serena. So I kind of look at it as, but you're right. Only young star, only rising star.
And she's dating Corday, so she's the coolest.
Sure. Serena's the GOAT. Don't get me wrong.
Shout out Lost Boy.
Yeah. By the way, we did the hip hop and R&B bracket the other day with Nick Underhill of New Orleans Football, and maybe 10-20 minutes later,
he got Lost Boy by Corday in the mail.
That's right. But yeah, no, that whole situation was kind of wild. And for those that don't know, Naomi Osaka didn't do media availability and kind of talked a little bit openly, actually really openly, about how the reason that she didn't do it was, and she cited mental health and everything, that she just, as Dylan said, didn't feel capable of getting it done and doing it. And they threatened her with, what was it, like a $15,000 fine and expulsion from the tournament for this. And so ultimately she just withdrew, and can't blame her. And everything. And I do think you're absolutely right. I mean, we look at how media does need the access to the players, but the players should also be able to be the ones to say, not today.
Mm-hmm.
Not today.
Like if I was in a locker room and someone said not today, I was like, all right, yeah, cool, see you later.
Cool. See you next time.
Deuces.
Like, we're out. That's no big deal.
Yeah. Hope you get better, dude.
Yeah. Let me know if you need anything.
Yeah. How's your mama now?
Right.
No, but one of the crazier takes I've seen is like, well, she should just go out there and go just give one word answers. She meets the contract. Then what are you really getting if you're gonna go out? If she's gonna go out there and give like,
right?
Say,
what's the point?
No, what's the point? Who's really getting anything out of it?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And another one, the whole, oh, she's rich. Oh, she plays sports. Get out of here. Get out of here. I will say, like, people are very comfortable in very different situations. She can be comfortable in the court playing tennis, kicking some A double hockey stick. Nope.
You just LeBron James it.
Some ASS, excuse my language, and then not feel like doing a press conference afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, like those are two wildly different things, and one of them is something she has trained her entire life for. The other is not. The other is not. Because I feel like I saw somebody on Twitter or something like that say, like, I'm a lawyer and I'm an introvert, which is not the same thing, by the way. Like, being introverted is a personality trait that can be associated with mental health and everything, but sometimes it is just simply a personality trait, and some people like to keep to themselves, and that's also okay. But if you're a lawyer and you're introverted and you go out there and still do what you have to do every day, you're trained to do that thing every day. Naomi Osaka is trained to play tennis. She is not trained to deal with your dumb questions sometimes, like, or questions that at that time she doesn't want to take. And especially, by the way, let me just say real quick, sorry, especially like if the one-on-one interviews on the court are indicative of what tennis media is like, I can't say that I blame her. Because those interviews are not great.
No. I'll share one of my favorite stories about Allen Iverson. In the NBA, whenever you're a rookie, you have to do media training. Something you have to do. Allen Iverson, his first year, didn't do it and got fined.
Would have never known that he didn't do it, by the way.
Yeah. He got fined. He was like, well, yeah, well, what if I don't? He's like, fine, you have to come next year. He was like, what if I don't come next year? We'll fine you again. And so he wrote them a blank check and said, fill it out when I'm retired. I'm not dealing with your dumb questions.
That's outstanding. But then he still did his interviews. And he still, and he provided some of the greatest content out there. You know what I mean?
Like, we talk about practice.
Right. But even beyond just the practicing, like, Allen Iverson was a fun interview, period. Yeah. Like, he's a funny dude. And so, like, and an insightful dude and knows the game extremely well. And so, despite the fact that he never did that media training and probably got fined millions of dollars, after, well, probably not millions, probably hundreds of thousands of dollars after the point, you kind of wonder, like, all right, if he would have done the media training, how much differently would his interviews have been?
Probably would have been worse.
Probably
would have been worse.
It would have just been bad.
Yeah. And also, even if he did it, what are the odds that he sticks to it?
Right.
And doesn't just immediately start acting the way that we all know he will act.
Right. Which is being himself, which God forbid, I guess.
Yeah. Bottom line is, leave Naomi Osaka alone. Let her play tennis and be really good at it and be awesome doing it. Yeah. And then, but it's also funny whenever people are, whenever she does her interviews, people make fun of her for being awkward.
Right.
Like, she obviously doesn't want to do this. Like, she got someone's name wrong or something, and people were like, "Oh, she got her name wrong! Woohoo!" And Naomi Osaka is a young kid. She's on Twitter. She's reading. She is on social media.
Right.
She took to social media. And one of the crazier things to me is uh, people are like, well, why didn't she handle all of this internally? She said she tried.
Right.
She tried, and then they wouldn't listen to her. So then
Right.
she took to Twitter because she felt more comfortable with Twitter than the people who are like in charge of this in tennis. So all I'm learning is tennis. You got one star, and you're treating it horribly.
Right.
I wonder how many other stars we could have in tennis if tennis wasn't so bad at handling it.
This is a really interesting thing, right? Like the player relations portion of all of this between league and player is a humongous question mark in sports like tennis, golf, baseball, sports that struggle to draw an audience. Now, I think golf is modernizing a little bit because they're not coming at their players for, getting spicy on the court, excuse me, but like getting spicy on the course, taking shots at one another. Like they're leaning into it, right? Like the the match with Phil Mickelson and Tom Brady taking on I can't remember the golfer's last name. He's got a great last name, but Aaron Rodgers and the other golfer that's been beefing with Brooks Koepka. They chose the guy that's been, the big, he's got the big club. He does everything well on the field in terms of, what he does from a power perspective, and then is spicy as all get out on Twitter. They chose the personality over the name in Brooks Koepka, which I think was a smart choice. And that exactly is one of those things where like you can look at golf kind of modernizing a little bit, baseball and apparently tennis needing a little bit of massaging here in order to catch up. Like the fact that baseball does not have its stars front and center is wild to me. It's absolutely wild.
Baseball really goes, we'll put someone on a cover every year of a video game and call it a day.
Right.
Doesn't make any sense.
It's wild.
Also, I want to give a shout out, Ross, to someone while we're talking about this, being personal with the players, personality. I sorely mistook Nick Sirianni. I am loving his early tenure with the Eagles. Have you seen the stuff from today about OTAs? Him in all these competitions he's doing, playing against the players. He was late to a press conference today because he lost a 3-point contest with Greg Ward.
That's right.
He's out there, giving, talking about Jalen Hurts, not shying away, saying how he's excited about it. We got players in press conference saying his energy is through the roof. I'm excited for Nick Sirianni.
Yeah, it reminds me of last year when everybody forgive the accidental pun here, but when everybody kind of prejudged Joe Judge, who came in and took over for the New York Giants, and it's only been 1 year. It's only been 1 year, but the Belichick tree in that he came from special teams coaching with the Patriots has not been super successful in the NFL. And Joe Judge right now maybe being the most significant first year guy so far, just in terms of, look, the Giants were not a good team last year. Let's not pretend like they were, but they were a team that were much worse off and didn't have Saquon Barkley and whatever excuses you want to make. But when it comes down to it, Joe Judge was beloved by the players and everything. And it's funny because he had an approach that everyone assumed was going to be very opposite what Sirianni's approach so far, which is a little bit more like players coach approach so far. But there was concerns that Joe Judge would be a little bit too like hard nosed for this generation of players and everything. And it's been fine. Sirianni kind of got judged the same way that was it Steven Silas at the Rockets got judged for being like too much of a players coach, not being, rough enough or whatever. And, we'll see how it all works out, but so far so good. It's definitely starting off a little bit better than the Dan Campbell era in Detroit thus far.
I haven't heard anything about like what players are saying.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything from players so far, but it has been strange, like the kneecap thing, the awkward interviews, stuff like that. And then he showed up wearing a racing helmet to a press conference yesterday. And so, it doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means that it's, you're kind of wondering, like, you're asking questions.
Ross, this one will take you back to a couple years ago in Saints media. Nick Sirianni
Uh
has
huh.
put a ping pong table in the meeting room.
Nice. All right.
Do you remember when there was a big deal whenever the Saints took out all the video games and ping pong
Yeah,
tables
that was
from
huge.
the locker room? Yeah. So Nick Sirianni taking the App Store, putting stuff in.
Nice. Hey, we just got a signing in the NFL. The Minnesota Vikings continue to add to their secondary, revamping their
Hmm.
secondary. They've added Patrick Peterson, amongst others. They bring in cornerback Bashad Breeland now, who played with the Kansas City Chiefs last year. He was a target that I really liked for the New Orleans Saints. I thought he was probably the best fit on the market left for the team. But there are still good teams out. I mean, good fits out there. But I thought he was the best fit for them. But now he heads to Minnesota to play with the Vikings
Hmm.
this offseason, or at least to enter camp. But I think he'll get a roster spot. He's a very good player.
Yeah, interesting. I like that. I like that. They have a depleted cornerback room over the past couple of
Big
years.
time, yeah, yeah. Remember last year the question marks were around like, are they even going to have a secondary to field? Because several pieces of their secondary walked away in the offseason last year.
Yeah, it's been a whole thing. But yeah, what are you looking forward to this weekend, Ross?
For the most part, just continuing on with the NBA playoffs. This has been really, really exciting so far, and it's been a ton of fun. And so I've been really enjoying it, and so I'll be excited to just continue to take it in. And then also in the midst of all of it, getting some rest too. So I'm really glad for that. What
Saturday
about
we
you?
get Saturday we get game one of Bucks and Nets.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday we get game one of Hawks 76ers, and then a potential game seven between Mavericks Clippers.
I kind of want that game seven.
I do too. How do you feel? How do you feel about Bucks Nets?
I'm pretty excited for that series. I think that's going to be a very, very good series of games. It'll be interesting to see if the Bucks can hang with the Nets defensively and everything. Or excuse me, offensively, right? Because I think the Nets are going to be able to score, and so can the Bucks keep pace? And they have with high scoring teams in the past, but are they going to be able to do it against this particular one? If the Nets don't advance in the second round, is the season a failure for them?
Oh yes.
Right?
If
Like
they don't win a ring, especially with LeBron out,
oh yeah, like there's no one, like there should be no one in the way at this point. Except you've got all the young talent, right? I mean, you've got Antetokounmpo, you have these Chris Middleton who's been outstanding as well and always shows up. I don't know, is Chris Middleton always good or do I just happen to catch his fantastic games?
he shot 50, 40, 90 last year, I believe.
He was really remarkable, right? Okay, good. Because he's every time I have gotten to see Chris Middleton play, he has been clutch.
Chris Middleton should be a star, but he just isn't.
Do you think it's like a overshadowing thing because he's on the same team as Giannis, or is it a personality thing that like
First,
he's
well,
not worried about it?
I've never seen anything from him off the court.
That's what I was thinking too. Like I can't think of a Chris Middleton interview that stands out post game, whatever. Like there's not something that stands out in terms of him having a profile excuse me, not a profile, but a spotlight off the court in terms of personality. So maybe
Like
it's a combination of both.
the last 4 years, he's averaged the lowest was he averaged 18. But that was a shortened year, obviously.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. He should be a star, but he just isn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's an interesting case, I
Yeah.
would say.
But he's such a good player. He's
Yes.
such a good player. And so he's a lot of fun to watch.
So it'll be interesting to see him against more popular Chris Middleton and Kevin Durant.
Right, right. I will say, like, Chris Middleton to me is the X factor for the series, and I could probably say that for just about any Bucks series, but particularly in a series to where you're gonna have to keep pace and score. He's a deciding factor for me.
This is going to be a fun series. This is going to be a high scoring series.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who is stopping Giannis on that Nets roster? Nicholas Claxton?
Ain't nary a person. Nary a person in sight to stop Giannis in the series. So he's got to show up, right? Like he's got to perform.
I will say, Ross, I'm looking forward to it because there's one person that I've seen shut down Giannis Antetokounmpo at one point, and these two players have beef. It's James Harden.
James Harden, right? Yeah.
James Harden, really good post defender. Surprisingly good.
Surprisingly good post
defender. And him and Giannis have beef, so I'm really looking forward to this series.
This is gonna be fun.
I think there's only one preview we need to have for this series. I think.
All right.
Let me pull it up real quick.
And the beef between James Harden and Giannis, really started with James Harden in Houston, and now there's playoff potential between the two, right? Like that's one of the things that's been, that hasn't been there for the two of them before. That's an added factor here, is that they could see each other for 7 games in a row here.
Had people talking about some of the stereotypes that have blown up around you. Charles Barkley, when they had the All-Star draft, was saying, "Oh, no one wants to take James Harden. He's a dribbler." Giannis Antetokounmpo makes a joke on the air about, "I want to take someone who can pass. I'm taking Kemba Walker instead of James Harden."
I average more assists than him, I think.
You ranked 10th in assists going into the All-Star break, and Kemba ranked 36th in assists going into the All-Star break.
So I don't see what the joke is, but I didn't even see it. I don't pay attention to stuff like that. I just know none of them can mess with me.
Well, Daryl Morey, your general manager, had a great line to kind of address all of that. He said, being different doesn't really get appreciated until it works.
Yeah, or when I'm done. When it's all said and done, they'll appreciate it more. But I wish I could just run and with 7 feet and run and just dunk. Like that takes no skill at all. I gotta actually learn how to play basketball, how to have skill.
Dang.
I take that any day.
Do you think that in the end, a title is going to give you the respect that you think you deserve?
I mean, it is, and I will get it.
You feel
Wow.
Yep.
I'm ready for this series.
I told you there's only one other thing.
Wow.
There's one other thing that needs to that we have to show in terms of preview for this series.
Sure.
There you go. It's a play.
Kumpo gonna try and back down.
Oh wow! So for those listening, that was the play. What was that? A couple years ago, right? 2019. Yeah. It's where Antetokounmpo was in the post, and James Harden was on the opposite side of the paint, and just got beamed in the face by the ball.
Dive, duck, dip, dive, and dodge. You know what I'm saying? It seemed like Giannis was playing dodgeball. I don't know what Giannis was doing, but the ball went straight at James Harden's head.
Woof.
So those two players, Ross, do not like each other.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
There's bad blood. There's bad blood there. And now James Harden got a whole crew with him. Rolling deep, ready to go.
So I'm excited for this series.
I'm excited.
I am rooting for no one. I'm not gonna.
I'm rooting for the fans, because I just want that series to be everything that every fan deserves, and that it goes deep, 6-7 games, and that it is as entertaining as it's set up to be.
I want a Suns Nets Chris Paul versus James Harden.
I was gonna say this is great for our brand. This is great for the brand if the two of them get to the fight, because all we've been doing is rooting for people that should have won rings a long time ago to win a ring. now
LeBron's out, let's let one of them old heads win a ring finally.
Here we are sitting here talking about the new influx of players and the influx of young stars knocking out old heads, things like that. And the one thing we really want is still one of the old heads to end up with a ring.
Yeah.
Surrounded by young assets though, and young players.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
I think the Suns are still my playoff team, but I would not be mad at all of James Harden getting a ring this year.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's been a part of the plan for you all along, right? Get a ring this year, maybe get a ring next year with the Nets, and then take it all back to Houston and do it all over again in Houston. It's been the plan all along for you.
I'm telling you, James Harden not played his last game as a Houston Rocket, and I will welcome him back with open arms.
I think the entire city of Houston would.
Yeah, everyone had got their little anger issues out.
Yeah.
Now we just want him back. Come on.
Yeah, for real.
Come on, because you want to know why? Because we had to watch an entire season without him, and then
Right.
realize I miss James Harden.
Right. And you know what James Harden did? James Harden thanked the city of Houston.
Yeah, you know what Anthony Davis did? Got
didn't.
eliminated in the first round of the playoffs.
Oh, we opened the show with it. We closed the show with it. Anthony Davis gets these hands. I love it. Man, what a fun week we had. What a fun show we had today. Looking forward to being back with you on Monday. For tonight's game, you taking the Mavericks to close it out?
I'm scared to say anything about any of these games, Ross. I'm hooping for a game 7. That's all I gotta say.
There you go. So there you go. You want the Clippers to take it home. I want the Clippers to take it home too. I have selfish things. If the Utah Jazz come to Los Angeles, selfishly, I get to see a friend. So that's kind of what I want to happen. So I'm going Clippers all the way here. I'm going Clippers all the way. Sorry to my good friend Nick Angstead, the guys over at and Isaac Harris, the guys over at Locked On Mavs. I got to go with the Clippers on this one. I got to be selfish.
Yeah, and you know how I feel about the city of Dallas.
Yeah, you mean
It is the worst
South
city in Oklahoma.
Dylan, such a pleasure. As always, you can find Dylan on Twitter at Dilly Sanders, myself on Twitter at Ross Jackson Nola. That's Dylan Sanders. I am Ross Jackson. This is Dylan and Ross Save Sports here on Full Press Coverage, Full Press Radio Network. And Dylan, you think we saved sports this week?
We definitely saved sports, tennis. We saved tennis.
Hey, look, we
gave
got
them the groundwork. We laid them the groundwork.
That's right. We gave them the blueprint. Y'all fix tennis because it's an exciting sport. And lean into your stars. Lean into your stars.
Someone shouldn't have to win 20 titles to become a star in tennis.
Damn right. Damn right. My friend, I'll see you on Monday. Everybody, we'll see you on Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern time here on Full Press Coverage, Full Press Radio Network.